I was ordering some ambient LEDs for my washroom, so you can kind of see in there that it's sort of lit up. And I actually forgot this in my cart. So it has a little camera, goes on the top of the TV, then it has RGB strips that go all the way around the edges, which are all the way around the edges, and then you have these little foam alignment things that you put on the screen. In the app, you open the calibration, and then you calibrate the camera to those orange dots so that way it knows where it's looking, and then when you play stuff on the TV, those areas of color that it's picking up off of the TV, that's going to be the channel that the LED strip is going to correspond to. So now there's 4 things that you want to take into consideration here. 1 is you need a neutral color wall. Because before doing this, all of the walls were turquoise and the ceiling was white. And pretty much every single color was a different shade of blue. So after repainting the entire room, I only did 1 coat on that back wall because I still want to do another coat over top once I get this in place. And then I painted the ceiling all the way around. So that way it's a dark room, no reflections on the TV. The second thing that's worth mentioning, they are ridiculously bright. So my settings for this is I keep the LEDs at 50% brightness only. And even then, there are still some scenes where they're so bright that it's still really distracting from the TV. So somewhere between like 40 and 50, that's the sweet spot. Anything more than that, and it's going to be taking away from movies. Anything less, and it's barely even noticeable, so why even have it? Next is the color. The accuracy is horribly off. So for some reason, anytime it displays black, the LEDs will be blue. Anytime it displays any shade of white that's not pure white, it displays blue. So like, I don't understand why this thing favors blue so much, but I've calibrated it 3 different times, and no matter what, it always favors blue. Like even right now, you can just faintly see that on this screen right now, it's really dark because this video is just starting. It already has blue around the edges. This entire scene is green and gray. There's no blue. As kind of a remedy to this is if you take the saturation in the app and you put it all the way down as low as it possibly goes, you actually start to get the colors again because it brings blue down so much that it finally starts to blend in with white. Now, as for the calibration thing, it says to put the dots on each corner of the screen, but when you're watching a movie in CinemaScope, like when it has the black bars on the top and the bottom, those top corner and then all of the lower ones are going to be on black, which means it's going to be displaying blue. So I don't know if there could be a software update where it turns the LEDs off when it sees black, or if it displays white when it sees black. Or even just alternate brightnesses, so like 25% white on a black screen and then the 100% of whatever your ratio is for white screens. Because showing blue on a black screen is just super distracting. So that's pretty much it. Make sure you have a white, gray, or black wall. The colors are extremely overbearing, so 50% or lower is the sweet spot for how bright you want them to be. The saturation needs to be as low as it can possibly go. And when you're calibrating it with those little orange stick-on things, put a screen on like this so you can calibrate it to CinemaScope. So that way it's ignoring the complete top and bottom of the screen. So the top and bottom colors will always be representative to what's on the screen itself. Now, if we just pause this right here, now you can see the color of the lights. And they're all fairly representative to the colors that are on the screen. Like, the accuracy is actually really good once you take that saturation slider and you put it as far down as it goes and with the brightness around 50%. That right there is like the absolute perfect sweet spot for this. Couldn't be better. Now, the next issue. Cables behind the TV. And that's where this comes in. This thing was 30 bucks Canadian. Comes with a whole bunch of pieces, and this is going to apply the cable raceways for the cables that are going from the speakers and then down into the TV stand. Which is why I only have 1 coat of paint on right now, because I can paint these once they're on the wall. So once I do the final coat of paint on the wall, I can cover these, everything matches, and then there won't be any shadows from the LEDs anymore. So now if we just pull the TV out from the wall, you can see that little controller goes right here. The strips go up away from the bottom edge of the TV. And that has a little patch cord that comes up and goes across to the top section. So there's actually no LEDs up in these corners. However, it still works out, and it doesn't look that weird when it's actually shining on the wall because it's just accent to whatever you're watching. These just stick on with double-sided tape. Has these little like tab things that hold on the LED. They have double-sided tape on them as well. And you can also use this to screw into a wall if you're going to be using this for something that's not a TV. But they have a cheaper kit that doesn't have the camera if you're not using it for a TV. The little controller sits here, camera goes up there, the power cable goes down, and the cable here, which goes to the LEDs itself, just runs over here to the LEDs, and they have to go in line all the way around. And it'll ask you in the configuration which direction you want to have them go in. So you can have this start on the left or the right because these sections are smaller. So it can go on either side depending on where all of the I/O is on your TV. Now in the app, you can see that brightness is at 50% and the saturation is as low as it goes. So now if we bring the saturation up, you can see there's no longer white anywhere in here. And if we put the brightness up to 100%, it's like overpowering. Like, this is what I mean with the colors being too overpowering. That in this scene right here, there's no blue at all. Like, all of that grass should have green LEDs around that edge. And then all up here, where the sun flare is coming in, it's all pink instead of, like, orange. But if I bring the saturation all the way down, now it suddenly looks more representative to what's on the screen. Like, the upper left corner is almost exactly what it should be on the screen. There's still no green from the grass, so it's not picking something up properly. And that top corner where it was blue now looks more of a cool tone to match the trees and the road in that corner. So with the saturation, as far as it goes down, it's more representative to the colors that are on the screen. Hey, bring the brightness down to 50%, so it's not like super overbearing or anything. That way it just has like a nice accent to it. Like, even just looking at this scene right here, like, all of the colors are not correct. This car is orange, and that entire side is, like, pink and purple. So, having the saturation as low as it goes, because if you crank the saturation, it's just going to be super off. And, like, you know it can display orange, because it has it in the bottom. It's, like, it favors over to that side of the spectrum. It's just always pink, blue, purple, teal. Like, it's always on, like, the further cold side of the color spectrum. It really doesn't like to pick up warm, natural lighting. And, like, this little calibration screen here, you can see that it goes all the way around all of the corners. So, like, it should be picking up orange in that corner, and it's not. But even on this right here, I think the camera is just really bad quality. Because on this screen right here, it looks more pink than what's actually on the TV. So I think the issue with the color calibration is the actual camera calibration itself. The camera is not picking up the correct colors that it should be seeing. But like $140 Canadian, I'm not expecting greatness. There's literally not a single other thing in this price point that has immersive RGB lighting for the back of your TV. The cheapest alternative that I found was like $350 Canadian, and it's a little wireless camera that goes up there and actually looks down directly at the TV like a projector. And like $350 Canadian versus $140. Now the camera died, so I have no idea where I was at that. But basically this right here is the best immersive lighting that you can get for a TV for the price point. There's nothing else that compares. Now I have to clean up some of these wires. And this kit actually doesn't come with the piece that I need. Because from the center channel up, that's like the power wires for everything, the speaker wire, HDMI cables, everything comes through that main area. But then it splits off left and right to the two speakers, but it still goes up for the power and HDMI to the TV, as well as the new power cable for the LEDs and everything. So I have 3 cables that go up, 2 that go across, and then a whole bunch that come down. But this kit doesn't come with like a cross piece. So I have an opening at the top, bottom, and the sides. The closest it comes with is this. Would work for the bottom part, but then I'd have to cut a hole in the top to have the rest of the wires come out. If I were to be cutting this and just having a bunch of bare wires hanging out, then that's kind of defeating the purpose of having these at all. So I'm just not going to use this at all. Now the install becomes really easy, because all I need to do is stick these on the wall. That's it. So I probably do 1 or 2 from the speaker to the center of the TV, because from the inside of each speaker is 74 inches. So that means that 37 is right to the middle. So I need a little bit less than 37 inches of this. So I can use 2 of these for each side. So it'll use 4, and then I'll just use 1 vertical one coming from the TV stand up behind the TV. And then for the union where they join, I'm not actually going to have anything, because all of the cables have to come up from the bottom one, the speaker wires have to go out the side, and then the power wire for the TV, power for the LEDs, and the HDMI cable from the receiver all have to come out the top, and there's no fitting that fits in there. So there's no point connecting anything. I might as well just leave it completely open. Plus, it's right behind the TV anyway, and just judging at the height of the receiver to the TV, I think one of these is going to be like the perfect height that I need, and I don't even have to cut any of these. So I'm probably just going to end up using 5 of these, 2 on each side, 1 in the middle. You just use the included double-sided tape, you just stick on, and that's it. These little covers come off, and you want to put the big pocket side on the wall, so that way the wires can kind of tuck in, and then you're not playing like a balancing act trying to get everything in there, because it has a little lip on the inside, so it can actually kind of hold the wires in place. They're not going to fall out like crazy, and that gives you the opportunity to clip this on without pinching any wires. So I think 2 of those from the speaker is going to be perfect. Yep, awesome. And then 1 from here goes up. It's a little bit higher than I would like it to be. Actually, I could probably just leave the bottom open like that. There, that works. Because I want the top opening to line up pretty much with where the speaker wire is, which is 16 inches from here. So if I line that up, that's pretty much right at 16 inches. And then putting this on, having a little opening right here allows the wires to actually go into the TV stand because they kind of come out a little bit. So I could actually put this up over top and just have it offset like that. Okay, so I can just take a pencil, 16 inches up, right about here, and it's going to let the wire come out right through the middle. So the track is going to go to the bottom of the 16-inch mark. Then again here, right on 16 inches. Now I can just pull the TV out. I'll do another 16 here, and then another one. So I have the marks drawn on the wall, so now I can prep these things. So this is the included double-sided tape. All of the pieces have the included double-sided tape on them. So those are ready to go. Now I need 2 union pieces that connect these top strips together. So these will just go in, slide right in place like that. And then when I clip these top pieces on, this will be there to cover the joint between the 2 pieces. Not like it really matters at all. The main thing that I'm trying to do here is just get rid of the shadows of the wires. All of the wires are just held in with cable ties, so that way they're just kind of organized. And now that the LEDs are there, they're shining a shadow across all of those, and I have like this shadow of wires. So the whole plan is to try and remedy that with these. So none of these matter right now. I have all of these pieces prepped and ready to go. Now if we take these 2 pieces right here, just connect them right one up after another. That is as close as we can have those 2 pieces, which means that when I'm putting these on the wall, they can't be any closer than about 17 millimeters, say half an inch. So just got to make sure to keep that in my head when attaching these to the wall, is this one goes right up against the speaker. The next one goes half an inch away, making a gap. So that way those caps can go on and the ends can still butt up nicely. So now this just goes right up against here with this speaker. Just line it up with that mark, press it in place, and that is done. This next one can follow the exact same line, but going about half an inch away from the next one. Now I just gotta make a vertical line right about here. Now this can go just up a little bit, so that way I can still get the TV stand off if needed. And I'm just gonna center that up with the TV. So now that everything is on the wall, I can just run all the cables, figure out a cable managing thing. I'll let this camera charge while I'm doing that. And then I'll just come back and show you the final result. We can test the lights again to see if those shadows are gone. And if they are, then this will be a success. And if not, then, well, at least the cables aren't there. So, I mean, I guess that's an improvement. All right, there we go. So I'm just running a color test so we can see the color, and already it's wrong. I don't know if this camera's gonna be able to pick it up, but right on top of the right speaker, it's pink. And then this whole side right here is pink. And the entire screen is red. There's no other colors. The LEDs should not be any other different colors. Yet, they are. Green, perfect. Every single LED is showing green correctly. The blue, flawless. The teal, working good. Every color is perfect. Magenta, or pink, it's working perfect. So it was only red so far that we were having issues with. Yellow, looking great. And black, for some reason, there's still blue showing on that side. White, now it's all over the place. Like the colors are just everywhere. We have white directly in the middle, and then it's a little bit pink on each side. It's purple all the way up the sides, white on the corner, then white on the top corners, and then pink directly by the camera. So for some reason, the camera is having calibration issues with white and red. Now, even on the edges on the right side, the color is really weird. If you watch the light, it's already orange, but the green hasn't gone to the edge yet. Now it's turning pink, but the pink is already over here. So the whole right side color calibration is off, but the left side is perfect. Yet that's the side that has more blue than anything else. I don't know. Again, like I'm not trying to give this thing like a bad review. Like $140, you cannot find anything comparable in this price range. So it's been like a month since the last portion of what I recorded, and clearly I haven't finished painting because nothing ever gets done in a timely manner. I did feel that it was worth mentioning that there were two solutions. One is that when the colors were coming out like ahead of schedule, it was doing it on the left side, just not as drastically, but the right side was extremely noticeable. I calibrated the camera again, but that time it was already the middle of the night when I had decided to calibrate it, which means that there was no sun coming in. So even that minor amount of ambient lighting was enough to throw the camera off. So when you're calibrating the camera, it has to be pitch black. No other light sources at all. And now it is just flawless calibration. Like it is absolutely perfect. So that is definitely something that is worth mentioning, that when you're calibrating the camera, so you're putting the little dots on the screen, you need to do it in an absolutely pitch black room. Now, for the colors being picked up incorrectly, my TV was just too bright. So all I did was I turned on the power saving mode for the TV, which just reduces the brightness so that way when it's in a dark environment, the screen will automatically dim so that way you're not like literally blinded by HDR10. And then during the day, it brightens up. So during the day, the colors are still a little bit off, but at the same time, they're less noticeable because there's ambient lighting. But at night, when there's no ambient lighting and it's pitch black, that color difference becomes extremely noticeable. But now, with the TV automatically reducing the brightness in dark environments, that camera is able to pick up the true colors off of the TV and display perfectly. So calibrate the camera in an absolutely pitch black room, and if the colors are not reading correctly, then your TV is just too bright. So now I'll just play a little bit of this Dolby Atmos demo, and you'll be able to see when these blue dots are going around, it actually throws off the edges of the screen with the little blue lights. So right now you can really see what I was talking about with the colors not displaying correctly because it's bright in here. So the TV is at full brightness, HDR10, and you can see how bright the white is, but it's displaying pink right below the TV. And that's because it's bright in here. So the camera is actually picking up ambient light reflection off of the TV, and that's why the colors are not correct. And realistically, there's no possible way to fix that because it's light on the TV. And even just sitting here, there's a huge glare on the TV and everything. So I'm not getting a very good experience as it stands, but like at night, this thing is absolutely flawless and I couldn't be more content with it. It's just that the environment, this is not capable of delivering an experience that's as good as it is at night. But then even just looking at some scenes that have lots of color differences and the colors are really vibrant, the LEDs are perfect. We have blue all the way around the corner by the sky and then immediately goes into like orange and red. Then down in this corner where it's brown, the LEDs kind of like dim out and then it starts going up into more of like a teal color because of the clouds right in that one section and then more of like purple around the top into the clouds. And the colors are like perfectly representative to what's on the screen. So it's kind of hit or miss on what you're watching. Like it has to be a really vibrant scene that you're watching for the LEDs to be absolutely flawless in a lit environment. Like if I turn the light on in there, all of these colors are going to be completely different. Now with the light on, like you obviously can't see anything in that corner because that's where the light is, but the purple has now shifted over to the left side of the camera. That top corner is now white. It goes blue and then into teal. And then down on the bottom, we have red, and then we have like orange and yellow on this corner. So the colors are what's being reflected off of the screen. And that's why there were so many color differences that I was having before. It's the ambient light of the room. And it just came down to the fact that the TV was too bright to actually pick up the true colors. Now you can see that it's just like this tiny little camera. And if we actually watch these LEDs right in the corner here, if I just hold my hand, the color changes based on where my hand is. So the ambient light reflecting off of the TV is playing a factor into what's actually being displayed. Wow, this is really sharp. I've never actually looked at the TV this close while I was playing something. 4K is wild. Now with the light off, you can see that obviously all of the color over here is back, but that purple is no longer there, and we have the light blue and then like turquoise or whatever in this corner where it was before. So the color changes based on the ambient light of the room. So the darker the room, the better the lighting experience. Like right now, the saturation is as low as it goes. That is how vibrant it is when it's actually displaying correctly. I don't know, like I think this is awesome and it works perfect. Like that is just so cool. And for the price, like you really can't beat it. Like $140 Canadian, that's like pocket change in US currency. And this is what you get. And then combine that with the 7.3 surround sound, like this is just an absolutely ridiculous experience. And it's just highly recommended. There's no shadows on the wall from the cables. You know, eventually at some point in my existence, I'll do the second coat of paint and actually get those tracks. I'll get those to match the wall so they're less noticeable. Like realistically, I couldn't be more content with this. It's definitely worth it for anyone looking into it. You just, there's more setup than they lead on. This company literally just says that you attach it to the TV. You attach the camera to the TV, you hook it up with your app, you're supposed to stick these little orange things to the corners of the TV, and then you use the app to calibrate it, and you just drag the things onto the orange things. And unfortunately, that's not even close to like the actual setup process. So, I don't know. I haven't really seen anyone actually cover like in depth about this. It usually just seems like they were a bunch of paid YouTubers who are just talking about how great and cheap this product is and everything, and I actually bought this accidentally because I forgot it in my Amazon cart and I was buying something else and I just checked out the cart without looking and then this showed up. And through like a bunch of calibration and like troubleshooting and everything, just trying to get everything working, I at least figured everything out enough to give it like somewhat of a pleasant experience. So I'm just kind of hoping that through the chaos that I've been going through trying to problem solve all of these issues, hopefully you got something out of it. So like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. You can join the members program if you want to help support the channel, or don't do any of it. I'm not telling you what to do.